what the thinking of this political party is towards the emergence of the African Democratic Congress mega coalition. By this political party, I mean the APC, the All Progressives Congress. And the coalition has the aim of unseating President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. And we have had as our guest the ADC, former ADC chairman, Chief Rouse Oke-Nwosu, who has had a lot to say. But now we have from Asaba, Delta State, joining us, Felix Morka. Felix Morka is the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress. And I want to believe that he listened to Chief Rouse Oke-Nwosu. Mr. Felix Morka, thank you very much for joining us. Well, the coalition, they say the ADC is a dead party, and that is not a party that has not done anything. And Ralph Nwosu says, well, he's committed to Nigeria. That's why he yielded a platform for this your party that is not meeting Nigeria's expectations to be pushed aside. And there is a project that the alliance, the coalition is committed to. What do you have to say to Nigerians? Because he says it looks like you people are really under pressure, big pressure, and it looks like you people are jittery in the APC, very jittery. Mr. Morka, can you hear me?
Thank you very much, Doctor. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for having me today. No, the All Progressives Congress, APC, is not jittery, has no reason to be jittery at all. We're not jittery because the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is the leader of our party, is doing exactly what Nigerians elected him to do. He is standing tall and standing strong for Nigeria. He's voting with all fingers of his hands for the progress and prosperity of Nigerians. This president, unlike any other president that has come through generations of presidents in our country, decided upon his swearing in that some of the most acerbic challenges confronting our country must be confronted with seriousness and with total devotion. He summoned the political will, which no other president has done before him, to confront those challenges. And today, 2 years on, we have a whole lot to say about the outcomes, at least preliminary outcomes, of this bold, determined effort of this president. Now, I just listened to a part. I didn't hear all of the interview with Mr. Ralph Nwosu. And it's really pitiful because, you know, even though the so-called ADC, the choice of the platform ADC was made just a few days ago, Dr. Ruben Abati, you will recall that this judgment by these characters who have now constituted themselves into the ADC began very early on in the life of this administration to vilify this government and in fact issue a report card that this government has not in fact met the expectations of Nigerians. Even in the first few days of this administration, individually, they all came to that conclusion. So look, this is a predetermined judgment. It is not a judgment that follows an examination where you have an assessment over a constitutional term of 4 years to say whether or not the president has succeeded. Even now, today, we're just barely, over the 2-year mark for this government. And some of these individuals have already decided for themselves, by themselves, and in their own interests, that this president has in fact not met the expectations of Nigerians. That is all dubious and is bogus. Bogus in the extreme. Now, let me just say this, that all of the faces you see who parade themselves as members of the ADC coalition, look very closely at them. Discover the tribal marks on their faces, whatever birth marks they have on their faces. Keep it in your mind, my fellow compatriots. These are many of the architects of Nigeria's misfortune that has now become totally generational. They are the architects of Nigeria's economic stagnation. They are the architects of Nigeria's, incredible dimensions of corruption and underdevelopment and extreme poverty. These are the men, especially, I don't want to bring women into it so far, but these are the men who, constructed what this president today is trying to solve. Now, let me say this. This president has only been the governor of Lagos State. He's been operating in the Southwest. He's never been on the national stage. Never, to my knowledge, never held any political position on the national stage. This is his first time of emerging on the national stage as president. Yet, the people who have occupied and saturated the political stage nationally today dare to suggest that this president is the reason Nigeria is on its knees. Now, let me say this, Doctor. Nigeria is no longer on its knees. They brought Nigeria to its knees. But Nigeria, by virtue of the commitment of this president, has decided that no longer will Nigeria, crumble to fall on its knees. Nigeria has arisen. Our economy has arisen. The hope for Nigeria for the future has arisen. And I don't think that anybody like Ralph Wosu has any locus to come speak to the incredible moment that we're living through. This is a historical moment. And I think that anyone who loves Nigeria must pay attention and support this president, because he's doing what no other president has done. He has jettisoned the popularity, the need to be popular with Nigerians, because he's putting Nigeria first, because we're all Nigerians. So when he puts Nigeria first, he puts Nigerians first, our collective best interest first. And I think that that's really where we are, and which is why we are not concerned about any kind of coalition, whether under the ADC or under ADA or any other nomenclature that they choose. We're not concerned about that. We're simply focused on governing. And I think by the fullness of this term, Nigerians will be self-evident that this president loves this country and means well for this country.
Okay, Mr. Morka, you say that the APC is not G3, but these days, when the president speaks, he's talking about the coalition. When anybody speaks, it's about the coalition. And the general impression out there is that President Tinubu and the APC, they're both looking at a way to create a one-party state, an authoritarian system where the opposition cannot be tolerated. Now, how do you defend that? Because the president here has said, these are people who withdraw Nigeria back, they are irrelevant and all that. How can the opposition be irrelevant in a democracy? How can the APC, your party, say that people cannot express themselves in a democracy, with the president of Nigeria himself having been part of the pro-democracy process? So we deal here with a contradiction, we deal here with a paradox, we deal here with an irony. That's for people who understand these literary categories to understand and explain to themselves.
Doctor, my dear doctor, now all of that you have said about those who have decided by themselves that this country is headed in the direction of a one-party state, it is simply the epitome of mischief. They're simply being mischievous. They don't really believe that. They say that because they want to justify the position that they have taken. They've taken that position because they are members of the opposition, coalition. They're trying to, I think, sweet talk and talk their way to justifying what is otherwise the nuisance of this whole energy that they're trying to put in the coalition. Nigeria is not, has never been under this dispensation anywhere near the junction to a one-party state, let alone embark on the journey to a one-party state. How is that? Now, let me just say this. Just yesterday, we, the party in the south region of Nigeria, were in Edo State in Benin to, at a summit, to have a conversation about our party. And we celebrated the fact that, out of 6 states, we now have 4 governors who are members of our party. We're very excited about that. Now, if you listen closely to members of the ADC, I've listened to some of their speakers who have said that they have members of the PDP governors who are on their way to the ADC. And they're celebrating those who have decamped from other parties who they say, even without proof, have joined or are intending to join their parties. Why are they now celebrating that, the dysfunctional PDP has governors who are meaning to join them? Why? But it's not okay for APC to say, we welcome Governor Umoeno of Akwa Ibom State, that we welcome, Governor Sheriff Oborowori of my state, my dear state Delta. Why is it not okay for APC to celebrate those who have decided voluntarily to join us, while they are now telegraphing and telling Nigerians that there are some governors who have yet to join, but they are already agog, celebrating the prospects, according to them, of some governors joining them? You see, that is double speak. That is utter nonsense. We cannot, in a democracy, make that the essence of our conversation. So a democracy is about freedom of everyone to think, to aspire, to belong, to associate. That is, constitutionally guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What I'm saying is that we are happy to welcome anyone and everyone, every Nigerian, because we don't have gatekeepers who want to discriminate between those who come in and those who don't come in. We don't have those who, say, no, you cannot come in. Every Nigerian who aspires to join us, we welcome. We have a red carpet laid out to welcome those who join us, governors or ordinary citizens of this country. So the suggestion that APC or the president is, railroading Nigeria towards a one-party state is completely, utterly disingenuous. And, we must dismiss it with a wave of the hand. We are not. Nigeria is solid. Nigeria is a democracy. And even if anyone in their wildest imagination had thought to put Nigeria on that track of a one-party system. Doctor, I'm a lawyer of, about 36 years, standing at the bar. I can tell you that there are enormous legal complications, constitutional obstacles that you must overcome, which are not easy to overcome, to get Nigeria into that system. Because our constitution recognizes that this is a multi-party democracy, where every individual, every organization or party that is registered has the opportunity to aspire. But we are not constitutionally enabled to be a one-party state. So that is actually mischievous and should not be taken seriously by any Nigerian.
Okay, Mr. Morka, as we begin to round up, I get your point. And I'm sure our viewers and listeners have heard you. Now, this meeting that took place yesterday in, I think, Benin City, Edo State, and now you are in Asaba for another meeting. I don't know how you cope going from one meeting to the other. But we were told that, some governors, 4 of them, or is it 7 of them, have been promised re-election by the APC. Now, how did you guys arrive at that decision? You just sit down together and you say you'll be re-elected. Where does that leave the people in those states who are the ones to make the decision. This is what Nigerians are complaining about. That the ADC, whether it's caucus, or the APC, whether it's caucus, or it's NEC, or it's whatever caucus, they will just say, we have taken this decision. Where are the people who are the ones to make this decision? Are you guys so sure that the governors you have endorsed will come back? As we begin to round up, briefly.
You know, when we go to these meetings like we did yesterday at the South-South Summit and come out with a communique where the stakeholders who are in attendance decide to pass a vote of confidence, which is the other way to explain endorsement. It is actually a vote of confidence by the delegates of all of the constituent states of the South-South to say that they are, in fact, endorsing Mr. President and giving a vote of confidence on the President, which is really, in essence, a decision, a determination by the region of the South-South of the Federal Republic that this President has done an amazing job. In 2 years, has surpassed the record of any and every other president who has come forward before him by the 2-year mark, who has demonstrated political will, who has set Nigeria on a path of recovery and a path of solid, incontrovertible prosperity. When they say that they endorse that president, they simply mean that they are declaring by their constitutional and human liberty that this president is doing well and that they will stand with him through the next season, even though the president has not told us he's running. But we are saying by our endorsement that we need him to run so he can finish the job he has started, God helping him. Doctor, that is it's without prejudice. You're a lawyer, you know what that means. To the authority and the democratic authority of the electorate to make their decision. As a party, we are well within our liberty to say to our people, this is what we think, what we believe, what we're convinced about, that this president has done well and should be enabled to enjoy the fullness of his time to serve Nigeria. I do not think that that's really a usurpation of the electoral sovereignty of our people. We respect that. We cherish that, and we are simply saying to them, as a party, this is what we're thinking, and we will go out between now and 2027 to persuade them, to urge them to support this president, because we believe, and because we believe, we are confident that our people will believe and will, in fact, in 2027, cast their vote to re-elect this president to finish this, completely marvelous job he started. Irrespective of what the Raf Wosus of this world, what the Atiku Abubakars of this world, what the Peter Obis of this world, what the Rotimi Amechis of this world, what the David Marks of this world think. That is our position, and we're very confident with it.
Mr. Morka, which is the finest point to bring this conversation to a close. Mr. Chief Raf Okenwosu was saying that he doesn't believe all these things that you have said, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done well. And there are other persons behind him who think that what Nigeria needs right now is change. And then, of course, you made the point that the sovereignty of the electorate is what is paramount. It's the Nigerian people who should decide. It's not the politicians telling the Nigerian people what they think is the best option for the future. So it's a very interesting moment, significant moment in Nigerian history. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us and for taking time out of your political meetings from Benin to Asaba. I don't know where you are going next, maybe Abuja, for joining us on this program.